Welcome to Romance Rex, where book besties explore the world of romance novels and encourage you to expand your TBR. Join us as we dive into the hottest releases and hidden gems of the genre. You can find us on Instagram and Threads at Romance Rex Pod. Hi, I'm Christina, and I'm currently rereading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros.
I'm Jordan, and I'm currently reading Don't Let Go by Heather Long, and I'm re-listening to Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole.
Hey guys, this is Dev. I'm back. I am currently listening to and reading Salt and Broom by Sharon Lynn Fisher.
So buckle up for some bookish banter.
I completely forgot that we say that. I'm so sorry. You have to call.
Hi, we're back. First recording of 2025. It's going to be a good year. We have plans.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yes.
And lots of books are coming out this year, or the first half of the year is so packed with so many books. I'm really excited.
Yeah, things are happening.
That's the best.
Yeah, we've got events in the works that we can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
We have interviews on the books.
Yeah.
It's good throughout the year. This is going to be good. Hang in here, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure you're following us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure you are following us on socials. Right now, when we're recording this, it's Instagram and Threads and TikTok, but TikTok could be gone any moment.
And share.
Yeah.
Yes.
Share us with your friends.
Yeah.
With everyone, yes. We really appreciate the support. For those of you who've been with us from the very beginning, thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you. And yeah, we love hearing from you. So comment on the socials. Email us if you want. You can find all of our links in our bio on Instagram. So yeah, keep up with us. We love hearing from you guys.
Mm-hmm. We're going to start out with one that Christina has just been waiting on bated breath to record for months now. We were ready to do this in October, and then life happened and other stuff had to get recorded. And so we're finally here. We're ready to talk, well, Mafia and any organized crime, really, because what's life without the Bratva and MCs and other affiliated gang members with soft hearts?
You're right. I think that's the key.
Books,
and what?
Huh?
Say it in the mic. Say it loud and proud.
In these books, crime does pay.
It does.
See, say that proud. Don't hide behind your mic. Get in there.
Crime is very lucrative because I've read a couple crime families and everybody's a billionaire. I'm just saying, do with that information what you will. But I don't see any broke Mafia members, is what I'm saying. Okay.
Well, only like the entry level scrubs and.
Right, and they're not the main characters we're fawning over. We want the top dog.
No. Let me give you an example. My quote today is from the book I'm currently reading, Don't Let Go. This man, he's a criminal. He is a thief, a career thief. Okay, things like Ocean's 11 type stuff, but he works alone. Look at me, Fallon. Look in my eyes. I know beauty and art. I know magnificent pieces from the Greeks to the Renaissance. I know beauty in all its many forms. You are so goddamn beautiful. You make me ache. I want to hide you away where nothing can ever touch you again. I want to give you a reason to smile every single day, even if it takes me a lifetime to discover all the ways I can. The unexpected poetry threatened to shred my heart. But the scars are scars, he said with a shrug. They are a symbol of what we survive, that we overcome, that they are a history of the path that we've walked. Mic drop.
Yeah, that's so sweet and romantic. You wouldn't believe that they'd be thieving, in between.
Well, I mean, he's smooth.
Those beautiful lines. Yeah,
but
very. Yeah,
I really
those
pearls
love that.
off.
That's so sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, he's using those words as distraction. Meanwhile, lifting your art off the walls. That was really sweet.
Love him.
Cute. Love him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a quote today, but I just wanted to prepare you guys basically to be sick of me because I'm back on my bullshit with NetGalley art.
We could never be sick of you.
I am back on my bullshit. I've requested 3 ALCs. I am easing into it, so they aren't ARCs like reader copies. They're listening. And I've already gotten approved for 1, which is a sequel to a book that is actually on my bookshelf that I have been dying to crack open and I haven't yet. So I'm like really excited because I'll get to read that book and then jump into it. So
What is it?
yeah, it's the ALC is This Ends in Embers by Camilla Cole, which
don't think
I'm
I
pretty
got
sure is
it.
YA. I think it's YA, but I mentioned this book or the author last season, I think, briefly, because the first book is actually based on Jamaican mythology, or it has like Jamaican culture in it, and there are dragons, it's fantasy. I'm pretty sure it's YA, although I think they lean into a sapphic relationship in the second book. I haven't been trying to read too much about it because I want to be surprised. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I have that ALC, so I want to blaze through the first book, get to the ALC, and yeah, y'all will be getting tons more arcs from me because I'm back to living my arc life. So
Love it.
No quote, but prepare to be sick of me.
Okay, so I have to follow up Jordan's amazing quote and Dev's amazing news with this quote. Okay.
Oh, did you go sexual?
No, I went like dumb.
What do you mean dumb?
Let's hear it. Let's have it.
Someone wrote
it on us.
Boyfriends are like koi fish, a time-consuming and boring hobby.
Oh my God. What is it from? Wait, what is it from? Quote, the quote.
J.T. Geisinger, Cardinal Urges.
Oh. With the organized crime Rex today, I think that Christina should go first. This is the one she's been waiting for. She's prepared. I did the homework. Let's do it.
Pick me.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first rec is a trilogy called The Monster Trilogy by Rena Kent. And this series follows Sasha, who enlists as a man in the Russian military on her uncle's behest to try to get close to government officials to find out why her whole family was murdered. Like they were all taken out. She works really hard because, she's dressed as a guy and she's a girl, so she's smaller and not as strong. So she's trying to work really hard. Her superior officer, his name is Kirill, and he realizes her potential. Like, he knows she's a woman. I don't know why everyone else is blind around her, but he's not, so he knows. And he's just like, okay, maybe she's trans, or she just doesn't want to be dressed as a girl. Like, he doesn't give a shit, and that's great. So he's just like, okay, I'll take you on as my personal protection. Fly back with me to America. And she's like, sure. She's like, I'll find out more about my family's murder in America, I guess. I don't know. So she decides to go, and she becomes like his personal assistant. And then he lets her know, like, yeah, I know you're a woman. And she like thinks he's going to kill her. But no, he's interested in other things with her privately, so...
Okay, see, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for that. Because I was like,
Yeah, there we go.
So, I just want you to know that the sex scenes in this book are very, very dark. And you should really read the trigger warnings, okay? Because there's a lot of things even I was, like, shooketh about. And I was like, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So check those out.
Did they come from nowhere? Was it like a surprise, or were there content warnings in this book?
Well, I mean, I listened to this, so I don't know if the content warnings.
She doesn't look at content warnings. This is Christina. She's like, I have no triggers, and then she comes up on a trigger and is, oh no, I can't believe I ran into a trigger. So that's Christina.
I was like, what do you mean this is happening right now? So, didn't know that could happen, but here we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he is a Russian Bratva leader, right? So I mean, he's dark, and he's like really embraced that love of
pain,
blood, and murder, and pain, and misery.
Oh, blood play. I've read plenty of blood play. We talk about, yeah, that's normal.
Dev's face is like, is it?
In dark romance it is.
I was listening. I was sorry. I had a meme in real life moment where you said that, and then in my head I was playing out a visual meme where it was the one, I think it's a Taylor Swift song where it's like everyone in the room.
All eyes in the room on me.
Yeah. So sorry, that happened in real time.
Everyone in the room.
But it was good. And then I was like, why not? Sorry. I was memeing in real life. Crazy.
It's some serious hate fucking, so just be aware of that, okay?
Wait, do they hate each other though? Is that their relation? Are they clashing as well? Or are they like
Yes.
all peaches and cream?
It's definitely not all great all the time. There's definitely some hate
Got
back and
it.
forth for different reasons. But it takes like 3 books to really, because it's the trilogy, it takes you to the 3rd book to really solve her family's murder. And there is some plot twists that you won't expect coming. It's got like weird vibes in this book, like Goodfellas and Mulan, because, you know, she dresses as a guy.
Right. Very Mulan. Very
Mhm.
Mulan.
Yes.
Yeah. You said that it takes 3 books. I thought this series was like, you know, following different cadets or different couples each
Mhm.
thing, but it's them all 3.
It is.
I think that's kind of
yes.
cool. Bring back the art of a long story.
It
Yeah.
is, because you have a lot going on, and then like the hate between each, you know, like that always happens, the 3rd act breakup and stuff in each book.
Yeah. Right.
But it's great.
It's
So that's my
great.
first recommendation.
It's really dark and it's unexpected. It's great.
Good. Enjoyed it.
You'll
Ate it
love
up.
it.
Couldn't sleep at night, but love it.
Recommend.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
My first one is called Blade of Iris by K.A. Knight. This book is a standalone within a series of 6 interconnected books by 6 different authors. I've talked about this series on at least one other episode of ours, but I wanted to highlight this one because this one is one I still think about, and it's just in my brain. It's in my top 2 of the series. And this was the first time I read K.A. Knight and made me a fan.
Nice.
So the female main character's name is Iris, and Blade of Iris. Her father sold her to their enemies for a chance at peace, or at least a ceasefire. She's a Kelly from Boston. They're the Bratva of Vegas. Alexei, Zakar, and Nikolai Volkovs, 3 Volkov brothers, are about to learn she's no innocent girl. She's not this good little Catholic girl that is coming. Okay. She lived a life even her family was unaware of because she was the daughter. She was the princess. She wasn't supposed to get her hands dirty. She found her own way to get her hands dirty in the way that she wanted to, not necessarily in the family business. She's going there and she's going to make them pay for everything that they've done to their family. I'm not going to say a lot about it. It is dark. It is talk about blood play so much. Like there's a well, there's a torture chamber in the bottom of this casino where they live and they own it and where one of them works. And she shows him her dark side and they both have dark sides. And it's maybe tie me to this chair, maybe while someone's dying on the wall. I don't know. Things happen. Okay. Like
Okay.
life happens. I say this because it's really dark, but it's also very good. And just have fun with it. Definitely one of the best of the series. All 6 books in the series are Why Choose. And yes, they're all always like brothers. I think in one instance it's not a brother, but someone high up with them. Anyways, yeah. So they all trade their daughters. And then once they're all of age, they do the big swap and send their daughters over to be married to the next in line. Or by the time they are old enough, the ones that are in charge.
I'm intrigued.
It's so good.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
one's so good. I don't want to say a lot about it because I don't want to
wanna
give
give it
certain
away.
things away. Definitely enemies. Enemies to lovers. Like their family feud has been going on longer than any of them have been alive. So it's so good. And she can fight back. She's
I
a
love that.
badass.
I love that because speaking of badasses,
Oh,
the FMC in my book is so good. Okay, my first rec is going to be Sinful Vow by Asia Monique. It follows this is the first book of 6. I'm pretty sure there's 6 in the series. And it follows different members of different crime families. And in the very first book, you get like a prologue of basically why the next 6 books are going to happen or like how they come into play, especially with the first books kicking it off. It follows Lucia and Enzo. And one of the reasons I absolutely love this series so far, because I haven't finished it, but all the characters are Black. Okay? Now,
okay. I
Nice.
like
it's Mafia, it's Yakuza, I'm pretty sure it's Bratva. There's different organized crime families all kind of trying to coexist together peacefully, but they're all super violent as hell.
Okay, kind of like
And
mine in that same vein. Like they're all
yes, right. But the title of the series is Mafia Misfits because they're like all black, but they're like black and Japanese, or they're black and Italian, or black and, Irish. And basically they're the misfits of their community, family, whatever. Their traditional organized crime families don't support them because, oh, the daughter went off and married a black man. Oh, the son, married a black woman. This is horrible, and now we're going to cast you out. So they've banded together, and now they're running the town. So and it's so interesting to see, because whenever I read Mafia books or books that have the Yakuza or any of those organized crime families, I honestly truly don't picture myself. I can't see black people there unless it's, there's a side character. But whenever like the main top dogs, and when I tell you everybody's black, it's giving very black. It's giving very black. The names are like to their respective origins or like half cultures, I guess. But it's so fun to read it. And Enzo and Lucia are the first one. And when I tell you Lucia's a badass, number one, you meet her, she's in the middle of a crime. Okay? When you meet this girl, she's in the middle of criminal activity. And I'm like, yes.
She's criming.
She's criming. She's criming, and then she's getting away. I was like, I absolutely love her. And then she's very no nonsense, because she's a mafia princess, right? So she understands like the work that's happening, but she also has a side gig, which is a big focus of the book. It's violent. There's violence. There's them like figuring out how to like each other, because it's also arranged marriage, which I feel like you typically get with organized crime, like when you got to, we got to marry this family to keep our power, blah, blah, blah. So you get that of them clashing, like we both know that this is our duty, but how we going to each other? Okay. And do we like each other?
Oh. So, is there like a my wife moment? Like,
it's definitely giving my wife. It's giving touch her and die, touch him and die. It's like, she's very tough. She's a badass. She's gonna blah, blah, blah. But she also like submits to her husband only in specific scenarios.
Yeah.
Like she'll put him on his ass and remind him every minute, I can actually kill you. Watch what you say to me. So we love that for her. But she was just really fun to read as a character. There are dead spots in the book where I'm just like, girl, if you don't get on with this story. But I think it's really fun, and I am going to finish the rest of the series because I do want to see how the other couples come into play, because I feel like we've already met a handful of them. So seeing how these families navigate their pieces, to take over and deal with their things. It was fun, honestly. It's really enjoyable. And I love a badass FMC, so yeah.
I love that. How did you feel about, so I love this idea. I feel like we don't see this ever. I feel like this is such a fresh
take on it.
And especially the inclusion in it. I feel like that's even more rare. But it doesn't feel like kitschy or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'm trying to think if I ever felt like that reading.
But if you have to think that hard about it, I feel like
it doesn't. I can't speak for the rest of the series because I haven't gone through
that.
But the first book, it's not. I feel like I'm not going to sit here and say I know the author did all her research and made sure that everything was true to everything. I can't vouch for that. But when I was reading it, I didn't have I didn't ick a lot.
Okay.
Or I don't think I icked at all. So yeah, it was very heavy as far as like violence and just like the nature of being in organized crime. But I also found like very funny moments as well,
It's also hard, I feel like, with these big crime romances not to get stuck in like kitschy different like stereotypes of wherever the people are from. Like I feel like just because it's organized crime and we're romanticizing it, which is totally fucked up in the real world. Let's totally own that.
Because we would not be romanticizing organized crime. I don't care.
No.
In real life, this does not work.
Personally, blood play?
Absolutely.
No.
No.
Off the table. No. That's a hard list. That's my red list. That's a no. But in a book?
I'll take it.
Okay.
It's just love. Yeah, and
you're two consenting adults.
Yeah, we have to understand the difference. I beg of you, listeners, understand the difference, okay? We don't want to see these things play out in real life. But I'm going to get lost in this world of my like Irish black mafia man whose name is Dara and the rest of the mafias, or like whatever the Irish equivalent, like his name is Dara and he's a black man. Are you joking? And the other mafia bosses teasing him because he's black and his name is Dara. So it was nice. It was fun. It was good. It was refreshing, I should say. Like I said, I've never read a series or a book like this that incorporated. It was very inclusive. Yeah. Mio, the black Asian Yakuza boss, number one, she's a woman and she's running the Yakuza.
Ooh.
Unheard of. Yeah. And she's a badass and she loves knives. She walked in, everyone drops guns.
Awesome.
All the men drop guns into the basket to take away their things. She drops 9 knives.
I love
She drops 9 knives. Yes. And then she laughs when she sees the guns. So yes, Mio.
Like you're overcompensating.
Yes, exactly. That's how she felt. She was like, "Oh, guns! I could kill you all with my knives before you even reach for your gun." Cute. Yeah. So, yeah, I love it. I can't wait to get to her book if she has one. I'm not sure if she gets one, but because she's already married when you meet her. But I would definitely love to see her book. Although they do mention she has a daughter, so I'm curious about if her daughter gets a book. I'll let you know.
Stand by.
Yeah.
My next book is already going to throw Jordan off. I'm going to start off by telling you it has a pregnancy trope in it. Okay, Jordan?
Give it to me. Give me 14. Spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now.
I'm going to sit back here. I'm going to check my rules real quick. We're good.
Yeah. You're talking to me. Now you're speaking my language.
If you need to skip this rack, you can go ahead and look at the chapter markers on whatever device you're listening on. And
if you skip this, I will disown you. Not kidding. Let's hear it.
I feel like this book is divisive because I was reading the good and there's like 1 star, 5 star, 1 star, 5 star.
But that's the brilliant thing about our podcast because we all are different readers and there is something for everyone. And that's what I love about us.
So, Jordan's the 1 star. I'm the 5 star.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear this.
Okay.
I'd love this for you.
So technically this book starts off page. So off page before this book even starts, the female main character, her brother goes to the mafia to borrow money, right? For his gambling addiction, right? Okay. Start of the book. Our girl Kat is a nurse. She's hanging out at home. Her brother, who was like couch surfing on her couch, like up and left a big mess at her house, left without saying goodbye even. And she's like, that's just typical. He's a kind of here again, gone again guy, right? Like can't depend on him. Bam! Opens her front door and it's the fucking mafia. They're coming for her brother. They need their money back, right? Like you borrow money, you got to pay it back, right?
As you should.
Brother's not there. So what are they going to do? They're going to take Kat as collateral.
Yeah, we saw that coming. Poor Kat.
Yeah, I know. Kat is not happy about this at first. She's like, look, I don't even know my brother. He stole money from me too. Like took my last $1,000 and ran. What do you want me to do about this? I can't pay you your $1 million back. And then they're like, we'll keep you around. Your brother's going to come for you. She's like, fat chance of that happening. So the leader of the mafia, Dante. The book, by the way, is Dante by Sadie Kincaid, because I don't think I said that.
Thank you so much. You were waiting. You didn't, but thank you.
Oh,
Dante, Sadie Kincaid.
Okay, so Dante decides. Dante decides, you know what? Your brother's not paying me back. You're the payment. I'm keeping you, girl. You're going to earn your keep as a nurse here, providing for all my mafia guys who are getting shot in the streets and can't go to the hospital, right?
That's good, actually. That's not what I thought you meant when you said he would keep her. So I'm glad to know that he's thinking nurse.
It's part of what he meant. Not really.
Her outfit was really small, though.
Okay.
Her uniform was tiny.
Yeah, I'll keep listening.
He basically is like, I'm going to sleep by you every night. Doesn't really give her a choice, so that's questionable.
There's the boundaries.
Anywho, yes, this is fiction. Okay, lo and behold, he wears her down. Then next thing you know, she's pregnant. Okay, all right.
Okay, all right.
It
we missed
happened
a
quick.
couple steps here.
Not really.
Okay, so when I hear you say he wore her down, it makes me think she was coerced. So I just need to be very clear. Is this like C&C, like consensual non-consent for those who are listening? Or is it like she gives into her feelings?
I would say there's both in this book. Okay.
Okay. But like the first
okay.
time. I just need to know like the first time.
Yeah, the
Is
first
she
time
like
she gives into her
reluctant?
feelings for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
so
reluctant,
it is
but
like
you know,
her. Okay. Okay.
but she
I
has
just always
you
need
know
to know
just
that
like
first time. Like,
it's like those female main characters. She's like, oh, but he's so hot, and I wonder what it would be like, and I'm thinking about him, and then you know,
I should hate
she
him, but
hates
look
him.
at those arms.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's like you want to scratch the
exactly.
itch, but then you
Yeah.
get trapped.
Yes, she gets trapped all right. And she's like, oh, good God, I'm pregnant and I need to run away because I don't want my child born into the mafia. Dante finds out about this and shit goes sideways real fast for this girl. Like, she gets locked up, like in a tower, locked up kind of thing, like locked up.
Because he's
He is
controlling
not
and-
letting his kid go nowhere from him, okay?
Oh.
Like, for a week, he leaves her in a room and, like, delivers food, but, like, no one talks to her, so she, like, has no human contact and goes freaking crazy. Yeah.
While
it
pregnant?
gets dark. Yes, it gets dark, right? Yeah. So, I just
There's your 5-star Dev.
You know, I'm gonna actually pull that rating back. I'm not gonna lie to you. The way I'm feeling right now is, I thought this was gonna be a cute little mafioso story. This is giving Rapunzel to the worst degree.
Like Mother Gothel got her knocked up and locked her in the tower.
And then I don't love it, I fear. And no human connection for a week, and you're pregnant and the hormones are raging, you're hungry. You need like, I'm gonna skip.
But I think Christina really liked this one, so let's hear her the rest.
Please redeem Dante for me, okay? Because I've never met a Dante I didn't like. He might be the first.
I fear he might be, okay? Deb, I'm so sorry. I don't know if I can save him for you. She gives in eventually to his crazy being a mafia, crazy,
of course,
asshole. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, alpha hole-ness. She eventually ends up loving him and his family, and happy ever after for her in the mafia life, right?
And that's the whole book. End scene.
End scene. Okay, it's given Stockholm.
Oh, it does.
Right?
100%.
Is that the one? Is that the one? Am I right with my syndrome?
No, Stockholm for sure. And you find out that she has like this tragic, horrible backstory.
Oh, so
and then
he finds trauma.
Yes, and then he finds the men who gave her trauma. Okay,
and gives her more by.
No, what he does to these guys, I didn't think I could read legally in a book. It was there. Okay, I didn't know. I can't go further. Let's just stop it. This is a good book. You should read
that's
it.
Crazy.
See,
yeah,
I read it. So, listeners, we all know, if you've been with us for any time, you know that I love my dark romance. I do have a grayscale. And there are things that are too dark for me. And those seem to be the only dark romances that Christina ever picks up.
I'm so sorry.
And then she comes at me like, I don't think I can read dark romance. And I'm like, bitch, you are not reading the right ones.
You're actually reading pitch black romance.
I'm just kidding. You liked it. I'm not going to yuck your yum. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And obviously, a lot of people love that book. I know it's
it's back and forth. Like I said, it's very polarizing. I feel like I was reading the comments, and I mean, I'm not going to say it was the best Mafia book I ever read. You know, I liked it. I think for some people they would enjoy it. You know, for some others, I wouldn't suggest it. Go read the comments.
Or don't read the comments.
Decide for you.
No, read the tropes and things if that's for you. Don't look at other people's
read the trigger
opinions.
warnings in this book, please.
Unless it's ours.
Please.
Only look at our opinions, please. We are the ones you can trust. Not Goodreads comments. Unless they're ours, because I do review. I'm just full of contradictions.
Read mine.
Don't worry. Speaking of good recs, thank you so much, Christina. I'm going to turn us over to my next rec, The Kings of Kearney by Nevessa Allen. Okay. Ooh. Nevessa Allen. Yes, that author, the one that wrote Lights Out. Lights Out was not her first book, people. She has a whole backlog. Go read them. I am.
She does.
They're good. And she has a lot of different things. I'm currently also in the middle of, I had to put it away to read some other things for projects, but she's also written a historical romance. And a very cutesy, hallmarky contemporary.
Aww.
And this, Kings of Kearney, I've mentioned it in passing in another episode, but I wanted to put a spotlight on it because this is an MC, motorcycle club, for you, those of you that are not in the know. I had to teach Christina earlier before we started. So this it follows Jacob Larson. He is the chief enforcer for the local motorcycle club in the small town where Krista just moved to. She's trying to stay out of trouble. She's done with her time in the military. Both of them happen to be ex-military. Everyone in this MC is ex-military.
Oh, I love that.
So everyone has served something. She doesn't have much experience with keeping herself out of trouble, but she is determined. She works for one of their bars. She's a bartender in one of the bars, but she refuses to become a part of the MC, right? She's so badass, though. She has, through her time, she does have a messed up leg.
Oh.
So she has some physical limitations that it flares up and stuff. So she deals with that throughout, but it's like the one thing that kind of forces her to become vulnerable. And it just works really well. They end up having to work together to help her grandma and the shady business going down in the assisted living home. Now, that sounds so silly. It sounds silly, but it's not, because he wants to use her to get into the assisted living home because their rival MC in the next town is trying to bring drugs into their small town, and they are big on not letting that happen, and they've been doing that through the assisted living home, and like somehow they think they're swapping out medications from the elderly and all this stuff. So she's concerned about her grandma who has dementia, and there's all these serious levels happening. And so that's how she kind of gets entangled with him. And
I feel like the FBI should,
so the FBI might come into play eventually.
But I mean, in real life, they should be checking, because that seems like good crime. You know, I was crying.
I'm sure it actually happens.
Criming.
If I was criming.
She criming.
This is the adjective of the whole episode.
They're all criming.
We're criming everywhere. I'm criming.
Clearly, I am not living a life of crime.
She's not criming.
But if I was criming, I'd crime there. Seems smart.
People do a lot. People do a lot. Assisted living homes are scary places. Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're
working together.
They have to work together. And this change, I fell in love with a beefy, military, long-haired blonde. Oh. And I never thought I would say that about, no offense, ex-military or about long blonde hair. I'm sorry, but not once did I think Tamlin in any of this. He was perfect. He was perfectly moody and stoic, but he had amazing lines, and his banter was so good in his dirty talk. And their banter together, perfect. Off the charts. One of my favorites.
Oh.
That is something I do love about Nevessa Allen as a writer. So I was actually going to ask you about that, because she has a very specific writing style, and her character dialogue is some of the best I've and Bryn Weaver with their characters' banters and the way they feed off of each other. So funny, like the comedic relief, and comedy is like a skill. Like not everyone has it, and timing. Then also to write it, the timing has to be perfect. So I was going to ask about that, and I'm also curious to see how that plays up in the historical.
So that's actually ends up being, I think it ends up being a throuple. There's queer. It's queer, like.
I need this.
I love
book.
that.
Yeah. Which we are going to do a historical romance episode sometime this season. So that's one of the reasons. Actually, I think all of my historicals are going to be queer representation. But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. Kings of Kearney by Nevessa Allen. Definitely read it. If you're in the mood for some like badassery.
Yeah.
And I normally don't, just because of my own personal interactions in the past and relationships, I don't typically like to read things with ex-military. Like MC clubs, motorcycle clubs, I have no association with them. I have to me, that's a totally fictional world. So I can read it. But it didn't give me any kind of feelings reading it. It just more gave the sense of the camaraderie that they got from that and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. The next series I have. So here's the thing. This was tricky for me. I really debated whether or not I should even add this because, to be fair, like, it's probably a reach to include it in a life of organized crime, but I am going to include it. I don't know if you know this author, Gina L. Maxwell. She has a series. The Deviant Kings, and I've read the first 2 books. The third one I've been waiting to come out, but I think it might have released and I missed it. The first one is the Dark King, second is the Rebel King, and then the last one I think is the Vicious King. The reason I had trouble or didn't know if I wanted to include these books is because they're also paranormal. And
yes. At least give us the rundown. At least give us the rundown.
Okay, it follows 3 brothers, and they're Fae. They're Fae, but they're basically trapped in Vegas, okay, the city of sin, disconnected from their Fae roots because of some witchy witch who basically cursed their families. And in the first book, we kind of get into the breaking of that curse and them being able to, like, go back to their home world and also access their magic and all these other things. First of all, anything set in Vegas, I already think you're living a life of crime. If you tell me you are writing a small town romance, small town romance, and you put these people in Vegas, I already think there's crime and criminal activity happening because it's Vegas. It's a city of sin.
Have you been there? There are way too many
lights in that place. Yeah.
Okay, just checking. I was like,
I've actually been there once when I recorded a little show you may know, Next Level
that's
Chef.
Right.
But that's really the only time I've been there, and I didn't get to see too much criminal activity. So next time, maybe. Anyway,
she knew it was happening.
Besides what happened, besides some of the decisions made on that show by some of the
very criminal, Gordon Ramsay. Okay, very criminal of you. Anyway, so this series, they're Fae, it's paranormal. There's definitely a lot of killing. I don't know if it's super gruesome, but that first book, he was killing for his woman. He was killing everybody for his woman. The third book is my most excited. The second one was okay. I don't think it had that much. The third one I'm excited for because mates start to come into play, and the third brother, he's the baby, but I think he's also the biggest one of the family. He realizes that his mate might be a vampire. Now, the vampire family, maybe they're running all up and through crime. I don't know what it is about a vampire family that always has their hands in criminal activity.
Because they steal blood. Because they steal blood to survive. So they're all
and they've been here for years. At this point, what else is there to do? The first 3,000 years you're here, you're figuring stuff out. By year 5,000, you're ready to start criminalizing yourself. I don't know. That family is very they're very like in the crime world, the vampire family. And so the third book, I'm actually super excited to read about it because I want to see how the mates things happen, but also just having that vampire influence where before it was just like fae and like witches and other paranormal stuff. So I think that'll be really good. So yeah, it's by Gina L. Maxwell. It's the Deviant King series. And I guess I will include it in my organized crime because it is very organized because they own casinos.
And there is crime because it's Vegas. Right?
But we're in Vegas, so
I assume that if you are at a certain level of wealth, you are also doing crime.
For sure. You're doing legal crime. Mm-hmm. Is there legal crime? I guess if it's crime, it's illegal.
Let's just talk about the fact that you can be convicted and not allowed to vote, but you can still be elected to the president of the United States. I think at this point there is legal crime. I think there's justified crime. Anyways.
If you start making a lot of money, I'm looking, you're a criminal. Because who are you stealing from? Yeah. You're stealing from someone, okay? You're a criminal. Right. You can't talk about crime without politics.
Politics and smut.
Okay. That's my little jingle.
That's our new intro song.
Yeah. Politics and smut. Politics and crime. You're welcome, listeners. You're so welcome for that.
You have just been serenaded.
Yeah. We love that for you.
Next question.
Next question. Serenaded by the Romance Rex podcast host. Raw. Next question.
Crime.
But yeah,
Raw.
that's my series.
You came for the Mafia,
Let me know
you're
if y'all
staying
pick those
for
up.
the vampires and the fae.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Love it.
But yeah, my little
Okay.
fantasy crime.
I have one more series to recommend. It is Queens and Monsters series by J.T. Geisinger. That is the one that I quoted earlier. I have mentioned this series before, but I really wanted to bring it back because it is my favorite Mafia books I have ever read.
What? I love that.
Yes. It's 4 books that follows different characters and different mafias, but they're all intertwined.
Oh, yeah.
It's really fun to see how the characters interact with each other. Like, you have 2 sisters that are married into enemy mafias and have to bring them together for a wedding, and it's chaos.
Love that. Yeah, sign me up. That sounds like fun.
These books have literally the best banter I've read in any book ever. Like, the second book, I've never read a book quite like it. It's literally my favorite book probably ever. So the first book is Ruthless Creatures, and it follows Cage, who's a Russian Bratva assassin, and he's sent to kill his mark, Natalie, who's a middle school art teacher, just because her ex-fiance who left her had stolen money, so they think she's connected, so he's going to take her out. So he moves in next door to kind of like find out what she knows, see if she has any details, and then he's supposed to kill her and leave. But he ends up falling in love with her.
Yeah,
her fiance left her at the night of her wedding, just up and left because he had stolen money from the mafia and just left. And she had no idea what was going on, right? And so she's like got all these trust issues. She didn't even like talk to a guy for 5 years because of all this. And then this hot guy moves in next door and is chatting her up, and she's just like, okay. And then they fall in love, and it's so sweet. It's just great. And there's some hot sex because it's the Russian Bratva. And then you start with the second book, okay? Cardinal Urges, who follows Natalie, the main character, her best friend. Her name is Sloane. Well, she gets kidnapped by the Irish mafia to get back at the Russian Bratva for his new wife. And it's like, what?
I really like that. I like that connection.
Yeah. But Sloane is like a man hater. Like, she goes through men. Like, she's like gonna fuck him and leave him. That's all. Like, that's all they're good for.
Yeah,
dick and go, dick and dip. That's all she's good.
Dick and dip.
She does.
I know that playbook. Yes.
So
Jordan, I've read this before.
She's in for a good time, not a long time, right? So she's just going through the men. Next, right? And then here comes the Irish mafia and a new leader named Declan, and he takes her and kidnaps her, thinking he could hold it against the Bratva, and she gives him a run for his money. Let me tell you, he had no idea what he was in for.
Yeah, I feel like he probably kidnapped her and then wanted to return her. Can we drop her back?
It's us girls. It's us girls with the unisex names, where where you hear our names that are mostly used for men.
Return her.
Yeah. Declan was done with this woman. The banter between them is the funniest thing I've literally ever read. She like matches him point for point and then takes over. Like, basically she like turns all his men against him with her like love and stuff, and he gets so mad.
I love her already. Now I need to.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm liking Sloane.
Yeah, she makes him just so mad. Okay, so, and then she's still best friends with the leader of the Russian Bratva, and they're messaging and like chatting, and these men hate each other, and it's just hilarious to see. They're like trying to keep him playing nice. Okay, so then you go into the third book, and that one is Savage Hearts, and it follows Sloane's sister, Riley. Riley is visiting her sister Sloane, and then the Irish mafia gets attacked by the Russians, and Riley gets shot. And so this Russian, she like jumped in front of him and saved his life. So he feels like he needs to take her and like owe her his life. Yeah. Right. So he takes him back to his one little room shack in the middle of nowhere, Russia, in the middle of the woods, and like teaches her how to like shoot and chop wood.
Oh,
and
I love this.
Little like wallflower.
Yeah, I like this.
She's like a little book reader and wallflower, never like even been with a guy and never done anything. Been quiet, reserved. And then they have this huge hulking Russian Bratva guy in his little cabin out off grid. And it's so sweet just to see their relationship. I know.
That sounds so good. The whole series. And you know what I realized as you were saying this? I feel like we each identify with a different book. I feel like,
But
Christina, you are very
yes.
book one, where you're
Yes.
like dealing with this, just then shut yourself out after something happens and be like, screw all of you, forget you. And then someone
Mhm.
comes in and you're like, oh, but you're kind of hot. And then you have me who's just do it and leave it until you get someone who
Mhm.
like forces you to stay there. And you're like, I'm gonna be mean to you until you
Yeah.
love me. And then
Yeah.
you have Dev, who's like just being a good
Just a
Samaritan, who's just a girl, and he's let me take care of you, but also help you take care of yourself. Like this is all very
yes,
us coded.
And
Yes.
Dev, that third book also has a pregnancy trope.
Shut up.
Spectacular. Spectacular. I will be, yes, thank you.
Mhm,
This is
mhm.
seriously so good.
You know, I was just about to ask if I could just skip and read that one, but the way this author has chosen to weave them together, I
Connect
feel like
them.
you have to start at one to kind of see
Yeah.
it progress. So yeah, I
If
feel
you
like if
want
I
to
start
get
this
like all
series,
these other characters, yes, it definitely
right,
is.
and know where they're coming from.
Because then
But
you
yeah,
have
I
her
wanna get
wedding,
to
and
that.
she's with the Russian, and her sister is now with an Italian, and his best friend is Russian. So like you have all these
Yeah.
people in the room, and she's like, "There's not going to be any guns at our wedding," and they're all like staring at each other, and you know they all have guns. Like,
Right, everybody's packing.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And
Yeah.
and
So fun.
I like how it's connected through the women.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Like the positivity.
Normally
Because I feel like
men
it's
all
the
hate each other.
men. And
Yes.
I like this a lot.
Yeah. Did
Christina.
you say it was 4 books?
Yes, there is one more book, and it follows a henchman from the Irish Mafia, and he gets forced engaged to someone from the Italian mob to try to get their warring parties to stop. But the problem is he's in love with his fiance's aunt in the Mafia, so
And
figure this out. Yes.
have you read this one? Have you read this one?
Yes. So she's barely like 18, 19. He's like 30s, you know, but they're trying to stop the families from warring, so they get engaged. But he's in love with her aunt, who's like in her 40s, like a mature woman.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I actually, this author.
Oh.
like,
Who is this again?
yeah.
Very.
JT.
J.T. Geisinger.
Is it?
Geisinger.
Okay.
Geisinger?
Yeah.
Geisinger.
Geisinger. Yeah.
We're
Either
gonna
way,
have we're just sitting on this now.
Yeah, no,
It is
I'm
so-
really
it's really
intrigued. I'm very excited to possibly read this. This just sounds really fun.
Because tell me if you read it, Jordan, you would literally love Sloane and her banter, because she's a badass.
I bet I would. She just sounds like she's written for people like me. I just love it.
We all love
Oh, well, speaking of badass women, my last rec is I've mentioned it again. This is one I've mentioned before, but I really wanted to highlight this one. I'll just do it quick. Seventh Circle by Tate James and this is the Hades series, and this is book 1 of Seventh Circle. This is an organized crime. So the Timberwolves. It's led by the notorious Hades. Okay, Hades. You think tall, dark hair, brooding man. No, this is a badass, red-headed woman who wears stilettos every day and rides her motherfucking motorcycle around, and she will shoot your ass if you're going to try to fuck her over. She slaughtered her whole family to save her little sister from being sold on the black market.
Wow.
And slaughtered them all
Intense.
because her father ran it. Her father ran the Timberwolves, and she slaughtered everyone in the entire organization throughout the state that was loyal to him. And she took over and hasn't looked back.
Damn. She meant business. She
People
stood
in
on her
Right.
business.
Yes. People in her organization refer to her as Sir, or at least one of them does. It's so funny.
Oh, I love
Her
that.
right hand, and this is another why choose. Shocker, I know. It's so fun. So there's Cass is older. So there's actually 2 age gaps in this. She is a mature woman. I'd say like 30s. I think she's 30s. He is older. So there's an age gap there. Then
Give it
there's
to me
Zed.
right now.
Zed is about her age. So there's no real weird age gap there. And then I actually forget his name. They call him Pretty Boy. He is 18.
Oh my God, girl.
Huh?
18 or 19, yeah. And I have to
So all
I
these
forget his
men-
name. I'm going to be honest because they call him Pretty Boy and it's so funny. Okay, I'm going to do a little spoiler because it's in the very beginning of the first book. But she meets him, this younger, very attractive man, at one of her clubs, her strip club that she owns. It's a classy joint too. Just let's let you know. It's run by a woman, so of course it is. And so, anyways, she ends up fucking him in a supply closet before a meeting that she has. And he right?
As you do.
And then he leaves. Then she goes back to her office and then she realizes that he's there for an interview to be one of the dancers.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
And not only that, but one of her employees, the one that she has chemistry with, not only that, but he watched it because there was a camera in there.
I love that.
And then later she finds out, later she finds out that was his first time. And that's how she took his virginity.
Oh my God.
That is sick. That poor young man.
Oh no, there's no poor him. There's no poor him in this. I'm sorry. I know if it was a woman and she was 18, we'd be saying poor girl. But he was a fully consenting and, I mean, he was there to strip. Not that justifies sex.
Not you
but
just getting screwed in a coat closet.
To be fair, he was doing the screwing because he had her up again. So, I mean, he still had control.
Okay, here's a question.
This man was looking for a job.
I really like it when you read about experienced women being a man's first. That's like a little trope that I don't hardly ever see. So when this came about, I was like,
Here's how we'll know it's fiction. It was his first time. Did he make her orgasm?
Yeah, I know. That's totally
okay. So it's fiction.
Fake. Yeah, totally fake.
Yeah.
God,
I mean,
glad we've closed that deal.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the
Case
things we've
closed.
read, that's the most far-fetched.
Yeah.
Bratva, sure. Orgasm, no.
Yeah. Get that. That's fake.
Hot blonde? Okay. No.
Yeah.
An 18-year-old knowing how to make a woman orgasm? Probably not.
No way, buddy. No one believes
way.
that.
But later, there are groups where they're like, hey, pretty boy, come learn this. And then there's group learning stuff.
Okay.
Oh.
So think of the
He's taking notes.
because there's not only, there's Daddy Cass, and there's Zed, and then there's Pretty Boy. I just, anyway,
She's got it all.
She is fucking badass. And so if you're not familiar with Tate James, there's usually these big hidden dark secrets or plots that they're unraveling throughout series and new things come up. And it's just so good. It's so good.
How many books in this series? Because Tate James could have a series can go forever. But
I think there's 4.
Oh, okay, not bad.
I think there's
Standard.
4.
Thanks.
Yeah. Please hold. Tate James.
It would take him 4 books to learn how to get
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because there's usually one for each character in the Why Choose situation. Seventh Circle, Anarchy, Club 22, and Timber. Names of her clubs.
Ooh.
And when I say she is the star, she really is.
I love that.
I want to be her when I grow up. Without all the murder.
Right, of course.
A little less murder.
I will say, Tate James knows how to write a badass female main character, so
Yes.
I'm sure Hades doesn't disappoint.
And so that's that. There's also, I thought about doing Vicious Kings by Eva Ashwood. It's the Dark Elite series. She's a mafia princess, and it's another Why Choose. But Hades series has a bigger spot in my heart in the fact that it's the female is in charge. I wanted to rep that.
Badass women.
Badass.
Getting shit done.
Yeah. And
We love it.
stick with us. This is going to be a very exciting year. Big things. Yeah. Thanks for listening to us ramble about romance in organized crime. If you're looking for more romance books, please be sure to follow us on Instagram and Threads at Romance Rex Pod. You can find our favorite book recs from our episodes as well as behind the scenes content, again, at Romance Rex Pod. Also make sure to follow us and subscribe wherever you're listening. That really helps us. And we'll be back with the next episode in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
See you guys then.
Bye.